Well, there's no denying summer can really throw off your kids' sleep schedule, but there's some simple changes parents can make now to make sure kids have the proper sleep routine for the upcoming school year. Here to help us out is Queensway-Carleton Hospital Senior Sleep Technologist Andrew Holmes. Andrew, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me.
And so we're all running into this right now. We're on the countdown, some a week, some looking after Labor Day to get the kids back in. Can it be done?
Of course, we've still got a bit of time left. So what you really want to do is identify how much sleep your kid needs. We're talking about two different age groups here specifically, elementary and school age children, and then your teenagers in your high school. So elementary, you probably want to have them somewhere around 10 to 12 hours, especially for the little ones. We've got a 4-year-old kindergarten in place, so you want to make sure they've got a lot of sleep and they're well rested. For our teenagers, you want to have somewhere between 9 and 11. They're really challenged emotionally, socially, mentally, physically. So making sure that they have adequate sleep will really enable them to meet all the objectives that they want. They want to have be on point for memory recall and improve concentration and really meet all those objectives.
Right now it's starting to get a little bit easier because it's getting a little darker. We're not seeing the sun out as long. How should we start to re-implement bedtimes that a lot of us haven't been doing for the most part the last 2 months?
Yeah, well, I have 2 boys myself, and they've been going to bed about an hour later and getting up an hour later. So what we want to do is start tonight, if you haven't already, adjusting their bedtime incrementally. So you want to do it about 10 to 15 minutes every single night. So by the time the weekend hits, you might actually already be back on track. So what we want to do here is be on the exact same sleep schedule, if possible, 1 week before school starts. So if you still don't start till September 8th, get on track, start this week, and you should be good to go. Okay,
would you be changing bedtimes at any point when you start to see the kids getting older, that you can start to extend them a little bit more?
Yes, of course. You can kind of gauge your own kid. Every kid reacts differently when they're getting overtired, if they're coming home from school, depending on what activities they've got in the evening time. If they're very active, they come home from a full day of school and they've still got hockey practice. You want to make sure that they're close to that group and judge each individual accordingly.
Okay, so we've probably been a little less lenient maybe with screen times, maybe because they're outside and you haven't had to tell them to get off of the screen, but how much will screen time affect what's happening at bedtime?
It can in many ways. So what you want to have is a healthy amount of time between when you power down and when you go to bed. We've just discussed before melatonin levels, which is a sleep-inducing hormone, and can prevent those from being released. Aside from that, though, we have an age group of 12 years and up that come into the sleep lab. And we find that they're telling their parents they're going to bed at 9 o'clock, let's say, and my phone is just being powered in the room, or my iPad just being powered in the room. And once we press the kids a little bit, we actually find that they're on their screens after the door's shut. They've been tiptoeing. Now they're on social networks or they're engaged. And what you want to have is a bedtime routine that doesn't include that. You want to have them shut down, because these electronic amusements can actually get neurons firing, and that's what you don't want to have happen.
Okay, so maybe consider the screen time prior to, and include that in the prep time for going to bed, so that bedtime actually is when the lights are out and devices are put away. For sure.
It ties in. So you want to implement a bedtime routine that's you've switched off the device maybe an hour, or ideally maybe an hour or two beforehand, and now you're doing something for little ones, bath and a bedtime story. For the teenage years, maybe some quiet reading or listening to some soft music or something like that. Get rid of the devices, and I'll say get all the devices out of the room completely. Let the parents be a role model. Have like a charging station, get them all out. This is where we charge. Everybody's device gets plugged in. It's the dining room table, and we leave it alone a good hour before bed.
All right, one of the things I'm running into is ice cream. I've been doing ice cream as treats after dinner, but now I'm starting to look at the sugar levels and the sugar, needing to decrease it, especially trying to get to bed, and then trying to get them without the sugar heading into school as well.
Sure, sugar, caffeinated beverages, ice cream, whether it's Monster drinks or Red Bull energy drinks, maybe throughout the summer they've been having these throughout the daytime. A general rule of thumb, and most experts will agree, cutting out caffeinated beverages and heavy sugars and things like that after 2 o'clock in the afternoon would be the best way to go about it. They are stimulants. They can affect your actual sleep patterns at night, so you don't want to have anything that can kind of delay sleep onset, preventing them from falling asleep. So 2 o'clock is generally the rule of thumb. Don't give them a big Monster drink with their dinner or after school snack.
No Monster drink at that point, but we're also seeing so many hidden sugars in the products that we're not thinking about, but that's going to affect it as well.
Absolutely.
Well, you're going to have a lot of parents hopefully getting a little extra sleep as we're heading in and trying to kind of get them trained with the week or so left beforehand, but some great tips to keep in mind. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much.